What the hell is Sauce Sports or whatever that last call was talking about? What the hell is that?
Guys are from Free Love, man.
What's the motherfucking deal, man? Welcome to Sauce Sports. I'm your host, Ed Honcho. If you don't know, Sauce Sports is Houston Texans home network. We're talking all sports, but only Houston. I want to do something. People have been asking me for a long time, and most of you guys, well, it's grown since then, but the majority, when it first started, we first got the boom on Sauce Sports, most of you guys came because of a video titled, How the Texans Go 16-0 in 2017. That was a terrible season. It went nothing like it was supposed to, but people have been asking me to bring it back. And last year I didn't because I was trying to be cautious, whatever, superstitious, whatever you want to call it. But this year I'm bringing it back with the help of a special guest. Now, you have to remember, this has been recorded a few weeks prior. Some things have changed. Was going to release this a while back, but wanted to get closer to the season, have a little bit more fun with it. But some things have changed. Some of the names have changed, but the games will still remain the same. This is how the Texans are going 16-0 with a special guest. For those of you in Houston, the most locally renowned reporter in the city. I bring you the General.
Welcome to Sauce Sports. This is the General, and I'm here to report how the Houston Texans are going to go 16-0. Well, let's start off with the first game, with the Houston Texans taking a trip down to New Orleans. The Houston Texans last time met the New Orleans Saints and beat them 24-6 in 2015. I expect to see Bill O'Brien and the Houston Texans go down to New Orleans and get this win. Quite simple. Drew Brees was overwhelmed by the defense last time, and I expect Clowney to be back on the field, and you will see J.J. Watt and Whitney Merciless do their thing. Next up on the schedule, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars coming to Houston. And it's without a doubt that Doug Maroon is not up to task for Bill O'Brien and the Houston Texans and a healthy Deshaun Watson. I expect the Houston Texans to methodically dismantle the Jacksonville Jags. Going on from there, we will be traveling to Los Angeles. In Los Angeles, you better be ready for Watson and his star-studded cast of wide receivers. Normally, some people would think that the Chargers would be a heartbeat at home. But since they have no home field advantage with no fan base, this will be an easy 1-2 knockout. You cannot stop DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller with the defense that the LA Chargers have. From there, we are going to have to deal with the Panthers. And as you've seen today in the preseason game, the Panthers lost Cam Newton to an injury. Now, we don't know how severe it could be, but hopefully we'll see that the Panthers are not up to task for what the Houston Texans bring. Next up will be the Falcons. This dirty bird is not something I would put on my plate, but I will tell you this. They don't have the defense to stop the three-headed monster of this wide receiver core. I'm telling you right now, as a long-time Houston Texans fan and beat writer and a long-time Houston Oilers fan, this dirty bird is not flying against this bull. Next, we're going up to the Chiefs. We're going to face the Chiefs. It's going to be Mahomes versus Watson. And we're going to get to see who was the better of these two out of their draft. Everyone knows that Watson is the most electrifying quarterback. But Mahomes, with his baseball experience, can send that ball flying. But I expect the Houston Texans to beat the Chiefs to remain undefeated after 6 games. Next, we are going to have to deal with Unlucky Luck and his unlucky shoulder. Excuse me. We traveling to Indianapolis, where the Houston Texans have found favor and won multiple games in recent history. I don't see this changing anytime soon. Next, we're going to have to come on back home and deal with the Raiders and Little Chucky, as they like to call Coach Gruden. I don't know what he has planned for this Houston Texans defense, because Yellow Banana Spider ain't going to cut it. I see the Houston Texans remaining undefeated through 8 games. Next, I believe we will be traveling to London to face the Jags. Once again, the Jags have no fan base out in London. They're going to struggle against the Houston Texans to receive their second L. Next, we're going to see the Ravens. Lamar Jackson versus Deshaun Watson. Whose legs are faster? Who has more national championships? Who's the better professional football quarterback? My bet is Watson outdoes Lamar Jackson and the Ravens' lowly defense. Next, we're going to have to deal with the Houston Texans down in Houston with our home field advantage. With the best fans in the league, I believe the home field advantage goes to the Houston Texans. You can't expect Unlucky Luck to continue any luck streak against the Houston Texans. This will be how the Texans remain undefeated. We also have next the New England Patriots. Here we will see Bill O'Brien go from student to master. We will see him finally dethrone Bill Belichick in great fashion for the entire league to see who has finally arrived. The Houston Texans are a force to be reckoned with when they take down the New England Patriots. And without a doubt, I am telling you, ladies and gentlemen, the Houston Texans will remain undefeated to go 12-0. Next, we have to deal with Broncos and Mr. Falco. He just switched teams, but kept a pretty decent defense. We will get to see our first look at Kareem Jackson in a Broncos uniform. All those years spent as a Houston Texan, he wants to go and be Bronco. He had plenty of opportunity to stay in Houston, but refused. Too bad for him. He won't be around as the Houston Texans extend their undefeated streak. Next up on the docket are going to be the Tennessee Oilers. I grew up riding as a beat writer, following the Tennessee Oilers. And let me tell you something. Warren Moon and Earl Campbell and Dan Pastorini were some of the finest football players I've ever seen in my life. Unfortunately for the Houston Titans, They're going up against the Houston Texans. I see my new team taking down my old favorite team. After that, we will continue our winning streak to become 14-0. The Houston Texans are an unstoppable force at this point. We will be having to deal with the Buccaneers and Jameis Winston if he's even the quarterback still, depending on if he's going to make it without stealing any more crab legs. Last but not least, we have to see the Tennessee Titans one last time. One final time to cross that threshold to become the undefeated, undisputed Houston Oilers. 16-0. Here we go. And I'm going to hand it over here to you, Mr. Honcho. I'm dealing with a little food in my mouth.
Thank you. Shout out to the General for providing that lovely insight. Hey, like I said, I know y'all been wanting it. Figure we bring it back with a little special flavor, a little special twist. Shout out to 8710 man, aka Toxic City Tenny, and the General for providing us insight on how the Texans will go 16-0. Hey man, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're new, hey, we just had a little bit of fun around here. Hit that comment section below. Let us know what you think the Texans' real record will be. And by the time this release, we should be doing the season prediction averages. If you missed it, well, hey, go back and watch that video next. Make sure you check that out. With that being said, hey, Sauce Nation, y'all the freshest motherfucking ingredients in the world. We're trying to produce. Y'all be cool like y'all be cool, but most of all, y'all stay saucy.
Perfect.